All right. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody enjoyed having an extra day yesterday. So that was nice. So yesterday was President's Day. We were all for President's Day. I think I said the answer last week, but who knows? What two presidents' birthdays are we celebrating on President's Day? It's two of our favorites. Who knows?
Washington and Lincoln.
Good deal. It is. It is my man GW, George Washington, and Abraham Lincoln. Okay. So let's get at it. Now, there is something I want to talk to you guys about, and I'm actually going to give you options. And I personally like if I can, kind of choose for myself what I want to do as far as my own schedule and everything. So I know I have said it several times that I try, if at all possible, not to assign a test or quiz on a Friday or a Monday, even though I know today's not a Monday, it's a Tuesday, but you know what I mean, at the start of the week or the end of the week. I try really hard not to do that. Well, because of how things have fallen, that's actually what has happened the last couple of times, that it's fallen on a Monday. And I didn't want to do that again. And so what I decided to do is kind of pump the brakes a little bit and do a review, make sure that we talk about wrapping up this unit, because today you do have your progressive project packet that is due. So for that reason, we're just going to do a review on today's Zoom and then go over a few things that are coming up, important reminders, due dates, class calendar, all the things. And then tomorrow will be your combo unit test. And one of the biggest reasons why I do so many combo units is that I don't want you to forget what we've previously talked about. Because what's coming in only a couple of weeks is your midterm. Midterm will be one of the biggest grades on second 6 weeks. Midterm will be everything from Wild West 1880s all the way up until 1920s. So we've only got 2 units left. World War I, which will start tomorrow, and 1920s. So we've got 2 units left before midterm comes. Now, you are going to get a study guide for midterm. We are going to prepare for it because it is a ton of information. It is a really big test. And I will make sure that you guys are ready for it. But just know that if you're wondering, oh my God, why are we being tested on stuff we did, 2 weeks ago and the new stuff? And that's why, because I don't want you to forget anything as we're building up to midterm. Okay. So that is part of things that are coming. If you are even keeping up with the class calendars that I post every month, I'm sure most of you probably aren't. It's probably more for me than it is for you guys. But I apparently wasn't paying attention when I was making the February calendar and had things, due on 2 different dates. Like your progressive project packet I had due today and I had due on Friday. Like, I don't even know. I wasn't paying attention. But anyway, we are going to speed things up just a tad. We are still a couple of days ahead as far as where I thought we might be. But I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit and assign your unit combo test tomorrow. Now, today we are going to go ahead and review and go over it and make sure that you know what is due today. Your progressive project packet is what is due. If you didn't finish things up last week, you waited to the last minute, you like to procrastinate, you like that adrenaline rush, I get it, whatever. The only thing that you had to do independently is that last and final piece. So if you did everything together with us in the Zooms last week, that's the only thing that you have left to do, and you are doing this by yourself. That don't forget, we made the modification to it. Instead of having to do a 1 to 2 minute speech, all you're going to do in a Google Doc is type up the answer to the question. Who do you think was the best progressive president and why? We talked about Roosevelt, we talked about Taft, and we talked about Wilson. I posted that comparison chart in Google Classroom in the stream last week. If you go and pull up the Google Slides, you can go through and look at each one a little bit more in detail in the Google Slides, but you just have to argue who you think was the best progressive president and why. Minimum of a half page, roughly 8 to 10 sentences. I don't really think that I'm requiring that much of you, okay? But that is due today. So technically speaking, bell ringer and turn in the packets. But if you want to, I went ahead and posted it in Google Classroom. If you want to go ahead and knock out the unit test, it actually is open today, even though technically it's not due until tomorrow. So that's up to you. You have that option. If you think you'll have more time tomorrow, wait and do it tomorrow. But I will advise you that tomorrow's Zoom, we're actually introing into World War I and doing a few things together for World War I. So I would advise that you make sure that you go back and watch today's recording that goes over your test questions that we're about to look at. Okay. So I am giving you an option, but I'm also going to keep our train rolling so that we don't lose any time, because eventually we'll get behind, but so far we're good right now. All right. That's what's coming up. We are getting into World War I. We'll start that tomorrow, and that's what we'll continue with until next week. You are going to have a project that goes along with World War I. Here again, you have the option of what topic to pick. You can do weapons, you can do new technology, you can do women on the home front, you can do segregated units, you can do a battle, you can do a person. There's a lot of topics for World War I. So be thinking about what you might want to choose, and I'll have your whole unit of stuff for World War I that'll pop up officially tomorrow. Okay. So today we're just working on wrapping up. I'm working on grades this afternoon. I realized the other day there were a few things that I forgot to go back and finish grading. I do want to ask this of you guys. If you notice, if you have access to PowerSchool and you notice there's something missing, maybe it was an assignment that you turned in late, or there was a test or quiz that you had to go back and make up or whatever, and you notice that it's not in PowerSchool, if you will shoot me a friendly reminder through email, I would much appreciate it. I mean, I'm trying to juggle all 65 students, but sometimes I miss stuff. So anyway, I don't do it on purpose, but if you will kindly remind me if there's something that, you know, you've done, but has not been graded yet, I will work on that today. So anyway, today is officially the end of the first 6 weeks. Even though I cut everything off last week, I'm just finishing up grades. Okay. All right. Has anybody got questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I am diving straight into the review for your test. And again, you've got the option, do it today, do it tomorrow, whatever you want to do, as long as you get into SchoolNet before 11 p.m. Okay. Don't try and push it to the last minute because it'll lock you out. Even though I know technically you have till midnight, but you have to at least get in to the test by 11 p.m. Okay. Everybody's good? Maybe? So far, so good? Yeah. I love how you guys are interacting with me this morning. It's fantastic. That's sarcasm, in case y'all didn't get that. That's sarcasm. I'm looking at a screen of names. It's really sad and depressing from my point of view, but whatever floats your boat. Okay. All right, let's do it. You know the drill. These questions are coming directly from the test that will be posted. And hey, I put the short version on there. You're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know how much that really matters to you, but I did put the short version of the test on there. All multiple choice and matching. Let's hit it. Let's go through it. I'm gonna call on you guys because I'm tired of y'all not talking to me. All right, the Treaty of Paris. Remember, we got into a Splendid little war. The Spanish-American War lasted a whole 90 days. We're in, we're out, we win. But I want you to tell me, what territories do we get? Ian, what territories do we get?
Was that when we got Cuba and
Now, Cuba becomes an
the
independent nation.
Philippines and oh yeah, I want to say it was Guatemala or Guam or something like that. I can't remember though.
Okay, yeah, so it's Guam. It's Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. Now, we do end up purchasing the Philippines. They were not a part of the original deal, but those are the three territories that we get. Again, that's a test question. Make sure you know Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. Okay. According to the Teller Amendments, Cuba does get their independence after we help them win that war. Okay. Next, let's move on. All right. Hawaii. Remember, we get a bunch of territories during this imperialism phase. What is it that we are planting in Hawaii before we decide that we just want to annex them? Let's see. Autumn, do you remember what are we growing in Hawaii?
Is it sugarcane?
It is, yes, sugarcane. We actually have sugarcane and pineapple plantations, but sugarcane is the big one. And we decide that we want to cut out the middleman. We don't want to have to deal with the Hawaiians anymore. So we just want to annex Hawaii. Annex means to take in. We want to annex Hawaii to become a territory first in 1896 before they become the 50th state of the United States in 1959. All right, tell me this, Caitlin, who is it we purchase Alaska from?
I'm going to look because I don't remember. Russia.
It is Russia. Yes, you got it. All right. So Alaska is another territory that we are going to purchase. They have a lot of natural resources that we learn later. It was not a failed investment, as some believed, because we had the gold rush in Alaska. It's good for oil, timber, a lot of other things. Okay. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Next question. American support for Cuban rebels was fueled thanks to some yellow journalism that was happening in newspapers. Who can tell me? Who knows what yellow journalism is? Faith, what's yellow journalism? Faith, you with me? Maybe. Yellow journalism is when the people running newspapers stretch the truth to the extreme. Yes. So there you go. Exaggerating the truth. Yellow journalism. So we know that the fuel for the fire of us getting into the Spanish-American War is because of that yellow journalism. Yep, those sensational stories. Fantastic. Good. All right, let's keep it rolling. In 1898, President McKinley sent the battleship Maine to Havana Harbor in Cuba. What reason are we there for before the war actually gets started? Sonny, do you remember?
I don't really remember.
That's okay. It's to observe. We're there just to observe. And, we're waiting for something to happen, right? Because the number one reason why we would ever enter into a war is if American blood has been shed, right? Like that's the number one reason. Now, there always can be other reasons. And unfortunately, while the USS Maine is there, what happens to it? Riley, what happens to the USS Maine? Riley, you there? Okay, well, thank you. Faith got it. I hope Riley's hanging in there with us. But yes, it explodes. It explodes. So the USS Maine explodes. We, of course, blame it has to be the Spanish that did it. And American blood has been shed, so it is game on. We are now officially declaring war. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's see. Supporters of annexing the Philippines believed that it would be essential for us to have a naval base out in the Pacific. So that was the biggest reason for that. We're going to start opening up the doors for trade. Chris, tell me, the open door policy is opening up trade with what country?
China.
It is China. Fantastic. So now we're trading with China. We are collecting territories and adding to our empire, which is what imperialism is. All right. Larger countries taking over smaller ones, which is actually a question. All right. Let's talk about the Roosevelt Corollary. The Roosevelt Corollary is a foreign policy written, obviously, during Roosevelt's time as president, to where we're going to take it a step up above what original foreign policy written in 1820. Ooh, this is a good one. Madison, do you remember?
I do not remember.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a bone. It was the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine was written in 1820, which said other countries should not interfere in our neighborhood, which technically they already had colonies here. But the Roosevelt Corollary says if they do interfere in this hemisphere, we are going to use military force. All right, there you go. All right, let's keep the ball rolling with our next question. It's actually a repeat question, so you guys should be good. According to the treaty, the end of the Spanish-American War, the U.S. would annex, again, specifically these two territories, Puerto Rico and Guam. And then again, don't forget, we do purchase the Philippines extra. Let's see. The economic and political domination of stronger nations over weaker ones. Again, that's the definition of imperialism. You've got that one. All right, socialist. We had an American Socialist Party develop at the turn of the century, and socialists believe what two things should work together. Isaac, what do you think?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, no problem. So according to socialists, what two things do they think should join forces and work together?
I don't remember the answer to that one.
Okay, it's all good. I got you. It is government and business. They thought government and business should both come and work together. Whereas what we have is a free market economy to where the government kind of lets business do its thing through supply and demand. So socialism is the idea that government and business work together. We do not have that, and we have not ever been a socialist society. Let's see. Next. Okay, this is a good one. This is a really good one. Okay, so Theodore Roosevelt wanted to try for the 1912 election. However, Taft is the Republican candidate. So what does Roosevelt have to do if he wants to run for the 1912 election? because only one person can represent a political party. So what, somebody throw it at me. What's Roosevelt got to do?
His own political party.
Yeah, he's got to create his own third party because he's not a Democrat. So he's not going to try and run as a Democrat. He creates the Progressive Party, also known as the Bull Moose Party. Fantastic. All right, let's keep going. All right, so it says, in general, progressives supported the reforms that would improve the lives of workers, because that's what progressives are about. They're trying to help the common man and make progress, make things better for the common man. Fantastic. All right, what is the main goal of progressive government reforms? And it's to take control from big business. All right, that's why Roosevelt, Taft, and really Wilson, all three are really what we call trust busters, going after those big monopolies and trust. Theodore Roosevelt is going to make history as the president to, in 1902, during the coal miners' strike, he is going to step up, and somebody answer this question for me. Does he step up in favor of big business or in favor of workers? Which one is it?
Workers.
Yes, he steps up in favor of workers. Yeah, he's the first president to do that. Everybody else has been pro big business. Good deal. All right. Now, there is one thing on here that if we were in class and I was able to go through the slides and we had all the time, we would have talked about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. You know how I've said before that sometimes bad things have to happen for change to come about? You know, and that's the incident. All right. There was a factory, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, and it was just that was the name of the clothing that they made. They made what they called a triangle shirtwaist shirt for women. It's a long-waisted shirt that would fit under your skirt. It would tuck in nicely. So of course that factory is full of cloth and flammable materials. Well, unfortunately, there was a fire that started on the, I think it was the 7th floor or 7th or 8th floor, and the fire went up. Okay. And so the 8th, 9th, and 10th floors were on fire, and they're not checking safety protocol. They're not checking fire escapes and making sure that these things are working in the event of an accident. Unfortunately, the girls on those top floors either jumped to their death or they burned alive in the building. They just could not get out of those top floors. And so because of that incident, and it was over 100 girls that died, it was a horrible accident. And when the fire department showed up, their ladder was like 30 feet too short. It was awful. Like they actually have pictures of them trying to put up the ladder and it's not reaching where the girls are. It's horrible. It's awful. But anyway, so the question says, the tragedy at the Triangle Shirtwaist Company led to building codes to make sure that the fire escapes are working. You know how we do like fire drills and things like that? We do it to make sure that everybody knows what happens in the event of an emergency. So again, bad things have to happen for us to realize we got to make change, unfortunately. Okay. Last couple of questions, and there are a couple of matching terms on here, and I'll make sure we go over that. Let's see. What did progressives think was needed to solve the problems of society? Government action. They thought government had to come in and change a lot of stuff. Taft brought, this is a good question. All right. I know that we call Roosevelt a trust buster, but Taft actually busted up twice, double the amount. He actually busted up 90 trust, and Roosevelt only busted up 45. So it is a question on here saying that he is a trust buster. He goes after trust. Ooh, this is a good question. This is part of your IDs. Somebody tell me, what is the name of a journalist who is investigating and finding out all the corruption going on? What nickname do we give them? Yep, Faith's got it. Muckraker. Yeah. That question's actually on here twice. I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, knowing that that's a muckraker. Let's see. All right, this is all part of your IDs. Let's make sure that you got it. What progressive reform allows voters to demand a special election to remove an elected official from office? What is that called? It is a recall. Very good. Recall. Face on top of it this morning. All right. This is all the matching. So just make sure that you know it. All right. There's two words that you might get confused. Let's make sure you know what it is. What term gives a citizen the right to introduce legislation or propose possibly a new law? So if I wrote on the ballot that I want 4-day school weeks, what ID term is that talking about? Nobody? That's an initiative, all right? An initiative is when you, as the voter, can write something down on the ballot. What about the other one? What is it called when a voter is allowed to vote directly on proposed legislation? So if it's already on the ballot and it says, do you as the citizen want to have 4-day school weeks? And I can check yes or I can check no. What term is that?
Referendum.
That is a referendum. Yes, those are the two. You got to be careful. Initiative and referendum. Don't get those confused. Okay. All right. Let's see what else on the matching. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. What is it called when you eliminate alcohol? All right. Remember when we made it a new amendment? You cannot consume.
Prohibition.
It is prohibition. Fantastic. Prohibition is the elimination of alcohol. Good deal. Let's see. Something that we do make during this this time period is we hold on. Where's it at? Oh, we issue insurance for if there's accidents at work. Again, that comes because the Shirtwaist Factory fire. That's workers' compensation that finally comes about. And last but not least, I am testing you on 3 amendments. Only 3. We've actually talked about 5, but I'm only testing you on 3. What number amendment is going to be taking income taxes out of your paycheck? What number is that?
Isn't that the 16th Amendment?
Yes, it is. 16th Amendment is levying income taxes. Okay. The next one you're going to be tested on is the direct election of senators. What number is that? It is the 17th. Very good. And last but not least, the third one I'm going to test you on is what amendment gives women the right to vote?
The 19th.
It is the 19th. Yeah, so those are the 3 that you're tested on. All right. Even though on midterm, I'm going to put all 5 on there. On the midterm, you better know 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Oh, actually 21. So I think there's actually 6 on there. All right. And of course, the last thing that is on there is the muckrakers. You need to know who does what. Ida Tarbell is the muckraker that is going to expose Rockefeller and the Standard Oil Company. It is Lincoln Steffens who's going to expose political corruption. And last but not least, who's the guy that writes the book, The Jungle, after investigating the nasty conditions in the meat packing plant? What's that?
Sinclair.
Yeah, it is. It's Upton Sinclair. Yeah. We got to thank that guy for a lot of stuff. It's because of him, but we have the FDA, the Food Inspection Act, meat inspection, pure food and drug, all the things. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my time is up. That's all we're doing today. So again, you've got the option. You can go ahead and knock the test out today. You can save it for tomorrow. Just know that my live Zoom tomorrow is going to be jumping into World War I. we're going to hit the ground running. Okay. Today, take care of bell ringer. Make sure you submit that progressive project packet. Don't forget to do your part of that reflection. And that's it for today, unless you go ahead and knock out that test. All right, what we got? Questions, comments, concerns? Anybody need me? If you need me, you can stay on. If not, then I'll wish you a happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Thank you, you too. Hey, I got a question for you if you're still, nope, okay. Never mind.